Kurt Busch suffered a concussion during a crash in qualifying this past weekend. He will now miss his second race in a row. What does this mean for the former Cup Series champion's future? And what does this tell us about the next-gen car? How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Driving race cars is extraordinarily dangerous. We don't need a reminder of that, but sometimes, unfortunately, reality gives us one anyways. Kurt Busch, the most veteran active driver in the NASCAR Cup Series. He's not the oldest in terms of age, but I believe he's been full-time in Cup longer than anyone else, even Kevin Harvick by just a few weeks. Kurt Busch suffered a concussion after crashing during qualifying this past weekend at Pocono. He missed the race on Sunday. Young 19-year-old Ty Gibbs filled in last minute. He ran a respectable race, crossed the line 18th, got credited with a 16th place finish after all the disqualifications. Initially, everyone thought that maybe Kurt would only have to miss that one race. Well, unfortunately, no. It was confirmed yesterday that Kurt Busch will also miss this weekend's race at the Indianapolis Road Course. Ty Gibbs will once again fill in. Busch released this statement: "After undergoing further medical evaluation this week, I have not been cleared to race Indy at this time. I remain dedicated to focusing on my recovery and getting back on the track, and will continue to work closely with NASCAR's medical team and my own team of doctors. I'm thankful to 23XI and my sponsors for supporting me and also putting my health first, and to Ty for stepping in to race the number 45 Monster Energy Toyota Camry TRD. I am proud of his debut, and I know he will represent the 45 well again this weekend." Now, as of right now, Kurt Busch has been granted a playoff waiver. Remember, he won earlier this year at Kansas. That qualified him for the playoffs. Obviously, if Kurt misses more races and continues to slip further and further down the standings, and if we get more than 16 different winners by the end of the regular season, then the waiver may do Kurt no good anyways. He'd be the first driver with a win to be out. But that's a lot of ifs. Right now, Kurt Busch is still eligible for the playoffs. NASCAR reserves the right to reassess in a few weeks if Kurt Busch perhaps is out longer than we all anticipate. Obviously, first and foremost, I would like to wish Kurt Busch a speedy and hopefully full recovery. Head injuries are no joke. We've seen them derail the careers of great race car drivers time and time again, regardless of era. Kurt's one of the more veteran drivers in the sport, but he's still very near the top of his game, very much a playoff contender and maybe even an outside championship contender, so hopefully he's back in the seat sooner rather than later. Now let's look at the bigger picture, because I don't think the ramifications of this incident will go away after just a few weeks. Firstly, and I do want to harp on this one more time, not because I think NASCAR isn't listening, but because I want to make sure this stays near or at the very top of their to-do list. The next-gen car needs serious improvements. Safety improvements. The new cars are very, very strong. I'm not criticizing that. That's great. But the caveat to that is that the front and the rear ends of the cars just do not give when they impact the outside wall. They're too tough. They're too resilient. And as a result, the driver is left feeling more of the impact in the seat whenever their car plunges into the outside or inside wall. Concussions are by far the number one concern. We talked about an article from NBC Sports a few weeks ago where Dustin Long compiled quotes from drivers who all agreed that the car hits a lot harder this year. Drivers like Bubba Wallace said he's experienced the hardest hits of his career this season. Austin Dillon and Joey Logano expressed some concerns. Christopher Bell, who's only like 27 years old, said that he's experienced lingering headaches at times this year, something he's never felt in his past. Concussions end careers early and obviously severely affect lives for much longer than that. Head injuries are not new to the next-gen car. I mean, Dale Earnhardt Jr. to Ernie Irvan, they've been around for decades. But ever since the first crash test of the next-gen, there has been concern over how this car absorbs impacts. And while Kurt Busch may be the first to experience a true concussion, it sounds like there are several other drivers who have not been far off this year. So say what you will, it's not even me saying it, it's the drivers saying that the car hits harder this year. NASCAR has room to work. They need to find a way to lessen the severity of these front and rear end impacts as soon as they possibly can. Because just from a business standpoint, it's not good if your young superstar drivers start retiring early consistently due to health concerns. NASCAR has a tremendous safety record. That's why I'm not trying to throw them under the bus here. I just want to keep raising this alarm in case it's not at the top of their to-do list. This should be at or very near the top of their agenda over the next few months. I know it's not something they can change overnight, but it needs to be changed as soon as humanly possible. Now, beyond the safety of the next gen car, I want to talk about what this means for Kurt Busch more specifically, because before he experienced this concussion at Pocono, just a few days before, he went on CBS This Morning and teased that 2023 may be his final season in the Cup Series. He was talking about the Chicago street course and then said this: "I've been in this sport 23 years, and this to me is like one of those kid in a candy store moments of, I want to be a part of this, and I'm glad that I'm having the chance to drive next year for 2311 Racing. Then I might be done driving after that." Kurt Busch will be 45 years old at the end of next season. Obviously, 2311 just signed Tyler Reddick to a deal that begins after next season as well. A lot have speculated that if 2311 can't get a third charter, Tyler Reddick is likely the replacement for Kurt Busch. Now, Denny Hamlin has said that Kurt Busch can drive for 2311 as long as he wants to. He'll always have a seat there. As long as Kurt wants to be a race car driver, we want to have him. So that's pretty much the end of that. And then once he's done driving, he's going to have a nice cushy office job at 2311. So he's going to be a part of our future well beyond his driving days. Kurt is certainly teasing that his driving days are nearing an end. 2023 may be his final season, but that's where I have to ask the question. Does this concussion, does being out of the car these couple weeks and potentially more, does this change his plans? It wouldn't be the first time, even in the last few years, that a star Cup Series driver's career was cut somewhat short due to health concerns. Casey Kane could not finish the 2018 season. I don't want to assume the worst, but if Kurt Busch's health is truly a concern, 2311 Racing may already be looking into a contingency plan. Here's some somewhat unrelated but kind of linked news that was posted yesterday. Richard Childress Racing posted a silhouette of a driver with a date, August 2nd, 2022. That's next Tuesday. Got the little Cup Series logo there, so it sounds like RCR is announcing a new Cup Series driver. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but it does seem pretty obvious based on that silhouette that the driver is Austin Hill, who drives for RCR in the Xfinity Series right now. It lines up. Bozy Tatarovich on Twitter points this out. Yeah, it's obviously Austin Hill. I hope RCR didn't think they were fooling anyone. The real question is, what is this Cup Series news? Is he going to make some part-time starts this year or next year in the 33 car or something? Or is Richard Childress planning on replacing Tyler Reddick a year early? Reddick signed that deal with Toyota for 2024 because RCR picked up his option for 2023. Maybe RCR is deciding, no, we're not picking up your option. You bailed on the family. You're out a year early, buddy boy. And they're going to put Austin Hill in the 8 car next year. That could be what this announcement is related to. I know Richard Childress did not take the Tyler Reddick to 2311 news well, as was evident by that team's statement back a couple weeks ago. So they may let Tyler Reddick go a year early, which means 2311 may be able to scoop him up a year early. Perhaps Tyler Reddick is that contingency plan if Kurt Busch isn't able to race next year due to lingering health concerns. Maybe Tyler Reddick goes to Toyota a year sooner. That's all speculation, but we saw Casey Kane's final season cut short. I don't think this Kurt Busch injury will keep him out of the car the rest of this year, but who knows? Head injuries are not something to be messed with. They're unpredictable. They're dangerous. They can have long-lasting life effects. So we'll see what decision Kurt makes. We'll see how he progresses from a health standpoint, but this is just something to be aware of. I'm no doctor, but I know once you get one concussion, it typically becomes easier to get a second or a third one. And as Bob Pockrass tweeted this past weekend, several drivers wore mouthpieces to collect data in the case of an accident. And he tweets, the G-forces in the Kurt Busch hit were not the most they have seen with the next-gen car. They likely classified it as a medium hit. So if a medium hit was able to concuss a star driver and keep him out of the sport for multiple weeks, imagine what a harder hit could do. Again, I'm wishing Kurt Busch a full recovery. You never want to see a driver sidelined by a serious injury. I hope Ty Gibbs does well at the Indy Road Course this week. I've been saying for at least a few months now, that Ty Gibbs should be getting Cup Series experience as soon as possible. And I think last week and this next week are perfect because there's really no pressure. He's stepping into someone else's ride. Like last week, he didn't even have a fire suit that fits. No one expects him to do great either of these two races or any potential future races he does. So getting some seat time, getting some experience with really no pressure. I mean, when's the last time Ty Gibbs didn't have a ton of pressure on his shoulders? I think this is good for him. So I hope he's at least making the most of it. He is the future for Toyota at some point, whether it's 2311 JGR, whether it's next year, the year after, who knows? He is the future. I'm glad he's getting some seat time. But of course, want Kurt Busch back as soon as possible because he is a legit outside championship threat this year. I think this year, Chase Elliott's clearly the favorite, but after that, it's kind of wide open. I think anyone could sneak into the championship four at Phoenix. I'll go and leave this episode there. There have been some other silly season rumblings. Noah Gragson talking about maybe staying with JRM for another year in Xfinity, not rushing up to Cup to maybe take that petty GMS slot. Who knows? But we'll get to all that maybe in a future episode this week or next. Thank you all so much for watching. That's going to do it for today. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We talk NASCAR news, we react to rumors, we react to races, and much, much more. Don't miss any future content. And as always, a big thank you to my Patreon supporters for going the extra mile, keeping the show growing. I truly appreciate your support. Pocono vlog should be coming tomorrow. Appreciate your patience. It's been a very, very busy week. I will see you all then. Have a great rest of your day.